so I haven't had the chance to like play around with it. I've been using a lot of like GoToMeetings and that type of stuff like lately. So I need to like look around and like learn Google Hangout again.
Yeah, it's a great tool. Uh, I mean, I've been using Hangouts for oh man, shoot, almost 4 years now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you were like one of the masters at it.
Yeah, yeah,
You was
yeah,
teaching classes on it and everything too. So
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I
awesome.
still do all that stuff, but I haven't been actively, teaching in that business because I'm growing a complete different brand. But I use those tools in growing my own brand. So um, they are incorporated into the women incorporated into the inner higher living academy, because when we teach the business segments and so forth to help business owners get their businesses to another level, to solve some of the health problems, solve some of the financial issues and stress. This is something that's taught. The pieces that I've learned over this last year and a half that have solved my problems have been, well, they're solving. I won't say they're completely solved, but business credit, personal credit, those are the two key ingredients that make a business run, you know.
Yep.
If you don't
Absolutely.
have if you don't have capital to market your business, I mean you're screwed. So
I know. It's
uh,
so true. It's
yeah.
so true. Well, I'm
But then
glad
once you
we was able to get together and actually talk. I apologize. It's so early in the morning for us to connect, but I'm glad we was able to make it happen.
well, that's okay.
So
Sacrifices have to be made.
yeah, so I wanted to actually like get a recap like again because I know we was talking, but I was like, and I got a scope of what you was looking to do, like with the event and with like the brand that you're creating, and I just wanted to hear it again, and then also probably ask a couple of questions on the end part of it, like for that February, like Valentine's Day event, to see exactly what we need to like make it happen and to like bring that event to life.
Okay. Pardon me. Um, well, where would you like me to start?
I was thinking, I just wanted to hear like from you, like your vision again, like because you was explaining like your vision and how you saw the event going, just to like kind of know where it is. Like I know you're, I I guess I want to hear what your business is going to be again, so I kind of get a full scope or grasp of it, so that I know when I'm building it, when I'm talking to people about it, I want to make sure I'm like giving out the right information and I'm saying the right thing.
Okay. Um, so moving backwards from this event actually is something that I want to culminate the end of a 61-day I Love Me challenge. And the purpose of being called I Love Me challenge, when we look at every January that rolls around, people typically make resolutions that they're going to do better this year. They set their goals, and the top two things that people typically make resolutions around are their health, losing weight, whatever, and their finances. With this I Love Me challenge is to address and put people into the proper pathway this year, moving into next year. We're not going to wait till next year to start it. We're going to start it now so we can carry that momentum over into January and put you on the right track for the entire year. So, this is an audience that I will open up to people that are employees, people that are business owners. It doesn't matter, because, as I had mentioned, it's not going to be the typical type of challenge like a weight loss challenge, to see who's going to lose the most weight and so forth. I mean, that's great. It's about getting the foundation and all the tools set up in place so that you can properly and safely release weight and increase your financial uh, strength for the entire year. So there will be coaching throughout this 61 days. So there will be into a private Facebook group,
Nice.
private sessions. There's going to be an outline of steps 1, 2, 3 you need to do for your health, and steps 1, 2, 3 what you need to do for your finances. Even with Christmas and New Year's coming up, there's a mindset piece that has to be, learned how to manage our needs, wants, and desires even around those times of the year. We don't just throw our hands up and say, screw it, it's Christmas time, I'll wait till after New Year's and I'll get back on track.
Yeah,
You know,
a lot of people do that.
yeah, there's so much benefit. You can already start. I mean, yeah, we got 1 or 2 days that you can do a little bit of what you may want to do, but other than that, you still got 60 some days, on into next year. So once we get this thing started, then moving it forward. So that's kind of the basic premise of it, of what's going to happen. And then I want, for those that participate in the challenge, then they get a ticket, free bonus ticket to come to the event.
Cool.
And then I would like to see some sort of social fun. So I want to have a theme of loving yourself. The purpose of loving yourself is most people do not put themselves first. And this will go against the grain for many people. But putting yourself first means really looking at you, taking care of you, even when it comes to your finances, so that you can give greater service and love to the rest of your family.
I like it. That's awesome.
When Tim is healthier, he has more energy to give to, I don't know. Are you dating, or do you have a significant other in your life now?
No, not right now.
Okay. Tim has stayed the course. He's been focused.
I've been thinking about it. Eventually.
Okay. You don't want to rush that. But the point of it is whenever you do, or if you had children, or even when it comes to your mother, the more energy Tim has, the better vitality Tim has.
Yeah.
Then whenever it comes to at that point in your life, if you had to take care of your mother, if you had to take care of a family member, you just have more of you to give.
Yep. That's
Does
awesome.
that make sense?
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it makes a lot of sense. Like, it's really, really good. I love the theme too, like loving yourself. I think is really cool, especially on Valentine's Day. We talked about like having like a piece where singles can be there and that type of thing.
Correct.
And then
And I wouldn't leave out couples, because that's a great way. If the couple is going through this challenge together, they can celebrate at the party also.
yep.
You
So
know,
for that day, the way you see it happening, you see it being where everyone gathers like earlier during the day,
yeah,
and there's sessions that will be taking place, like a general session. There'll be some breakouts where they can go into like different breakouts, or you want to try to keep everybody together the entire day. How
yeah.
do you?
No, everyone will be kept together the entire day. What I want is to be able to we go and have our walk, early in the morning,
Cool.
and if people need to, go back, and we'll have a walk at like 7 a.m. I haven't worked out all the timelines, but
Yeah.
we'll have a walk, and then we'll come back. People can clean up, refresh, get breakfast, and then session will start at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, something like that, and we'll go till 5. Break away for dinner. It just depends. I mean, if I can build the pricing in, and it depends on where our venue is, uh, I may be able to include, food from my chef. Where the chef will provide, he can provide food.
Awesome. So is this a type of event where it's all day, where it's going to be lunch, breakfast, and dinner? And then if some people will be getting some accommodations, where they'll be staying overnight, or is it just a 1 day conference, come to the conference, and then you're leaving after it's over?
Well, most likely, I would like to have um, Friday night and Saturday night stay because I want people to come in Friday, be there, and be there all day Saturday, and then leave. Then they're on their own on Sunday. So
Got it.
um, I may be able to, breakfast, lunch. Yeah, I like to plan on being able to provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner because if it's going to be a healthy environment, I like to be able to control it. So if it's a space where my chef can provide, you know, the food, or we can provide our own food. Now, if people choose to go out on their own, they can go out on their own, but we'll provide
Cool.
a healthier option menu.
I like that. I think there's definitely some venues that you can work with, depending on like some hotels, they allow you to use a chef depending on what the program is. Like for a program like this, some places will be open to that, saying, okay, you can bring in whoever you want to bring in. They just require like an additional insurance, which is not that much. And then they just want the chef to be licensed and insured. That's the biggest thing that a lot of venues are looking at, just making sure that the person that's coming in is insured. Or the second part is they try to have you partner with their chef. So your chef will partner with their chef. He still has control over the menu and then work with them. And in the whatever venue, their head chef still has control of the kitchen, but your chef just tells them what is good, what is not good. And they just kind of like work that balance. So it just depends on like how you want your chef to work and if he likes to have his own kitchen and just want full control, or if he's willing to collaborate with like whoever their head chef is.
Okay.
And then the sounds really good. Like how many people are you thinking? I guess it's for something brand new, you never know. Like it's just kind of new to like.
Yeah, I have no idea because to build in everything that I want to build in, the price point has to be there. And so,
Yeah, because I know you mentioned like about like 600 like a per person. So
and and
looking
it,
at.
and I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking a different number is popping in my head, at least,
Yeah, if it's gonna be,
900.
because it's like a 3 day 2 night, like a 3 day 2 night is probably gonna be a higher price point.
Well, I'm just 3 days. I'm really just looking at their travel on their own in on Friday. I got them all day Saturday.
Got it.
I'm putting them up Saturday night so that they can go home Sunday.
Okay. So also pretty much Friday is just like a travel day, so they can get there on their own. So that's almost like a pre-function day. So we can have like a discounted rate if they want to come in earlier. Like for that day, that's still separate from you, and that's on their own. If that can be an option for them, and then on Saturday it can be like included in the price, just for that. If Saturday night can be included in the price, and then Sunday is just leave on your own leisures, like on your own. So that'd be like a 1 full day conference.
Okay, I'm
Or
not understanding what you mean by the discounted Friday. What will be optional on Friday?
because Friday there's nothing happening on Friday, just travel. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm hearing.
That's all I have in my mind at this time.
Okay. So what I was saying is that like if people wanted to, like if that's what they're doing, if they want to come in and travel on Friday and get there on Friday night, I can like negotiate with the hotel or whatever property where we're staying at and get a discounted rate for them. So it'd be on their own if they want to do that, or some people may
Well,
want to drive up.
no, I do want to. I want to put them in. Okay, I hope we're not misunderstanding. I don't mind paying for their room Friday night.
Okay.
I want to include paying for their room Friday night. They just got to get themselves here Friday.
Got it. Okay.
I'm paying for their room, but they're on their own for everything else. And then the event starts Saturday. They're with me. I got everything covered on Saturday.
Okay.
And then Sunday they're on their own. Now there could be some activities Friday night that could be optional. That
Like an opening reception or something like that, evening reception, like at night. That's like really like light hors d'oeuvre if it's but in the budget.
sure.
Something like that. I think that can be really cool. I've seen a lot of like venues or companies will do that where they'll have like a opening like reception, and usually they'll run from like 7 to 9. That way people can still like kind of gather and like open up a registration where they can get like their name badges, all of those things, and whatever goodies or swags that's available for their arrival, and then they can go up to their room, and then the next day it just starts fresh, like early in the morning, like you said, the early morning walk starting at 7. They clean up, refresh, then come back for breakfast, and then go right into the sessions. And then following the sessions and everything, I guess there'll be another break in between, and then after that it'll be the dinner or party, the party, however whatever that is, and then the end of that night, and then on Sunday they'll just be gathering together, and then they'll just not gathering together, they'll just leave on their own leisure. Whatever they check out time is, they leave on their own leisure, and then they'll be done.
Right.
Okay. That's cool. That's doable. Um, Sounds like a really, really good event. I think just like knowing how many like general set like breakouts and like how many different like speakers and everything is going to be available just to build out that timeline will be like the most important
Well,
piece.
and that's those are getting sponsors, for the event is going to be important, and then building out the sponsorship levels, I guess, and then those that may take on the top sponsorship levels will get to be speakers. Those are going to be like my key individuals that I want addressing in certain areas. Like I've got a couple of doctors already that are going to be speaking. One's a physical therapist. Another is she's a she's a medical doctor, and she talks about hormones and adrenals and thyroid issues and diabetes issues, blood pressure stuff. So, and where I've also been debating is how I can have a price for those that want to participate in the challenge, but then also a price for those that may just only want to come to the event.
Yeah, I think like the people that do the challenge, it's like it'll be a discounted price for participating in the challenge. That's what I kind of see it as versus the person that's coming to or the opposite way. The people that's coming to just the actual event will get a discounted rate just to show up to the event. Um, Other options is like live streaming and that type of thing too. I don't know if you want to go that route and like having it where they can do like on on demand where they can tune in from their computers to see some of the sessions if they can't be there in person. Um,
For that setup, yeah, it just depends on what the cost is on that. I mean, I think that should always be an option for people to be able to tune in. But yeah, I mean, I like for it to be hands. My energy didn't really want to deal with live streaming audience and things like
okay.
that. I really would like to have it local, but live streaming audience is, I mean, that's cash flow from a business perspective. That can be cash flow because you're not paying, you don't have physical costs for those individuals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something to look at, and I always look at with a venue, make sure that the venue have the capabilities of doing it. And there's always a risk factor too
Yeah.
with it not working properly and that type of stuff. So I know.
Yeah. So that's for my first one. I don't know that that's what I really, really want, but for, I do, I don't know how many people. I mean, my goal says I would love if there were at least 20 people.
Hmm.
Um, at the event, but I don't want to think small. I think packaged right, we could have this could be a very successful event
I agree,
if
absolutely.
it was packaged the right way and promoted the right way.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think like the biggest thing, like with this time crunch, like we're just going into December now, and then now we have like that 60 days. It sponsors and all of that stuff, depending on if they're not already on board, it'd be tough to like go after like big companies. If there's like you was mentioning like the speakers and the people that you already have your contacts and connections with. Um, if they're doing, I don't know if are they doing a monetary sponsorship included with that, or is it just for their services that they're doing the sponsorship for?
No, it's monetary sponsorship.
Okay, so with them and then like a couple of other like sponsors, if they all come together, I think this can be it can work pretty. We can get it to go. Like I can start pulling like searching venues and like pulling like proposals to see how much the total of everything like this will come up to. But from like past experience to like produce an event like this, I say like $25,000 is like a minimum, which
25
might
25,000 is a minimum for.
that is for like I'm thinking like the 2 room nights, to have the breakfast, to do the general sessions, bringing in audio visual, like making sure like you have like the I'm thinking like full scale like 1 day conference where there's like the you have the screen projectors, so you got to bring in the audio visual team and the all of those accommodations and everything like that.
And that would be minimum cost to produce everything, including your fees and all of that. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Cost of
thinking.
food, cost of hotel, all of that stuff. So then, if I had 20 people coming and I'm charging a 900 to 1,000, then I'm off on that.
Yeah, that's why I was saying and it can put you in the red. Um, it depend, but it also that depends on, and that's I'm thinking complete full scale with everything that you would need to make it work, like with full logistics, full timeline. We're working with like making sure all the vendors and everything is there and strong, really reputable vendors with like the audio visual, with the right effort like food and beverage, with the right like accommodations from the hoteler and that type of stuff and those things. And then just having like the timeline, all the graphics that would need to be produced for the event. That's where I'm seeing that price will probably fall. And that's me being on like the light end scale of it. Like that'd be like I won't know a true number until I actually plug everything in and send out a asking for the proposals to come back to see what that true number will be.
Okay.
But I think the best thing to do is to like make sure like we know what that true number is and see what it will actually cost to produce the event, and then from there to decide if that's gonna how you can work around it, where that price point need to be so that you are bringing in a profit, and then we know we can do it. And the biggest fear is making sure that the people show up because you don't want to invest that income and then you don't have the return from the people that needs to like your attendees is going to be your biggest piece. So marketing would need to be really strong, and then we need to get like people to commit like really quickly because the program will need to start like you were saying like next week if we want to go with the that February 14th date. And I may be thinking too giant. It may need to be where we work to bill it to that point and we start on a smaller scale and then bill it to that. So, but that's your decision how you want to go about it.
Well, it's going to be the event's February 11th because that's a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
14th is like on the Tuesday, so it's
Oh, gotcha.
pre Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And it's not my first event per se, but anything like this, yeah, this is my first event. And whether the people show or not, that's why it's a bonus ticket. They're paying for the challenge and the weekly coaching that they're going to be, involved in up to that point. And the event is a celebration bonus, because we'll be celebrating what people have accomplished over that. For example, one of the key things for people that are employed is I'm going to be helping people correct one of their financial documents on their jobs, which is called their W-4. That form right there is going to help an average family that has income of 50, 75,000, even 100,000 combined income in the household. They're going to put at least $200 to $700 a month extra back into their monthly cash flow without doing anything.
Wow.
And then if they take advantage of certain principles, setting up a home business, then they're going to position themselves to employ their children. I mean, I look for families that got 2 and 3, 4 kids between 6 and 18. Those families, their cash flow and their taxes for the following year, when they take advantage of this, because I would love to have people come back to return a year later, because as we get the momentum going for this,
yeah, it just builds, and then it goes from 20
program,
people to 50 people to 100 people.
Yeah, because what's going to happen the following year, if they take advantage of these principles all year long, and then when they go do their taxes, and then they come to the next event, and then their testimony for the following year is, we created $20,000 in tax deductions. We saved ourselves this much money. I mean, it's only going to be crazier the following year. So, I mean, if I can shoot for 40 people, I mean, I love to be able to. I always want to turn a profit, yes, but even breaking even on the first event, to be able to build momentum, is good, because my goal at that event is to start marketing the Higher Living Academy, which is a complete different. It's taking what we do on this challenge, spread out over a year, and working with high level people and deep dive. And it's like a mastermind, a 1 year mastermind. So then we'll be having, and I had a conversation with some lady in Costa Rica yesterday, which for that mastermind or inner circle product, which is not part of this conversation, but I'm just giving you part of the end result of what I'm building toward.
Yeah.
I had mentioned to you before that there was going to be 2 retreats, one midsummer and one at the end of the year. Well, in talking with this lady, the idea popped in my head. We're going to be doing so much work together inside of an inner circle mastermind. We may have a retreat a month in. We've introduced each other online. We've been working together online, but we're going to go somewhere right off the bat, spend a retreat time networking and really getting to know each other, working with each other's business, and then having a mid-season and a graduation of some sort, because that way we can have a benchmark at the beginning where we were, and then after working together at the end.
That's awesome. That's really, really good. I think that's pretty cool. So with your objective for this main event, like this retreat, like what will make you happy with the outcome of it? People telling other people, bringing people back to the event. Like, I just want to get like where the full objective is, so that I like to kind of create metrics when building out things to know like what is like what's going to make you happy, what's going to make you like feel like it's a successful event. Like if it's going to be from like revenue standpoint, is it going to be from like attendee standpoint, that type of thing, so that when we're building it, we know what to look for.
attendee and benefit rave reviews, the benefit of the challenge themselves itself. Monetarily, I think the monetary part will come when people feel the value and feel the difference. Um, I want people to say, "Wow, this challenge was. I've never been a part of a challenge like this before. This was more than what I expect."
Awesome.
Because monetarily, I truly believe the monetary part will take care of itself. Now, I do want to have a benchmark for monetary, I guess, but I'm not overly at this point, and I may not be thinking correctly, but I'm not completely concerned about this event has to generate this much money for this to be a success. My success that I want is more from the inner person.
Cool. So it's gonna be mostly just coming from like, making sure that the attendees actually enjoyed the experience, really strong reviews, and then almost like guaranteeing the comeback. Like they had so much fun, they enjoyed it so much, they have to be back the next year. They have to. They tell people about it. They're gonna come back next year because of the way it was built in that process.
Correct.
Cool. That's awesome. And
And I
then you
want,
mentioned sponsors. Is there? Oh, I'm sorry. You was gonna say something.
well, and I was saying I want this first group to become, the ambassadors.
Awesome. You had mentioned earlier sponsors. You were saying that you wanted to generate some sponsors for the event. What type of sponsors were you thinking about? You thinking for monetary value? Are you thinking what industry? You looking for a certain industry? Is that something you wanting on my side to go after? Is the sponsor side, or you already have some people in mind that you want to approach for this event?
I would say a combination of both.
Okay.
Because I put out a message last night to a lady that I became Facebook friends with. But see, when I look at the four pillars that I want that were the main emphasis is on health. But everything else is on what are the reasons that prevent us from achieving that health, whether it's stress, what's causing the stress, is it relationship issues? Is it financial issues? Is it business issues? It's going to be one of those things. So the four pillars that supports a whole new me is health, business, finance, and relationships. So I want speakers in those areas, speakers and trainers to be able to come in and give people that kind of work. So I do want sponsors in those particular areas.
Okay. And then are the speakers you looking to for the speakers to pay in as a sponsor to participate in this event, or
Yeah.
are these going to be speakers that are getting paid for the event?
No, pay in to have access to speak to the crowd.
Got it.
And then they can, and then they can make an offer, you know. Um, for people to be able to I could do it one of two ways. They could either pay in or whatever offer they make, they can
A percentage.
I get a percentage. But see, I hadn't even thought about that's how, your major events and so forth, how they operate. But I like for them to pay in because I like to know that
Yeah.
the funds are there for the event.
Yeah, exactly. And then because I have seen it where they would do a percentage, and then the percentage would be like based on like what all they're selling at the event. Like they set up like a book, like a store and that type of stuff, and everything that comes out of
Right.
that store, the conference get a percentage of it. So everybody have to bring in set a certain amount of books and materials that they're going to sell, and then the conference or program, the event takes a cut from it. But I think like for an event starting off like this, being that it will be like the first launch, I think the paying in will be the best route to go, just to make sure that you're getting their full commitment now that they bought into the event. They're 100% on board, and they're gonna make sure they do everything they can to like reap their return on investment, whatever their return on investment is.
Right.
So that's good stuff. I like the four pillars. It's really cool. It's good. So the next thing that I would usually do is for after like having these conversations is I go back and I usually draft up like a timeline, and then I also draft up like a mock agenda of the event based on like the information you gave me, and send that over to you to look over to make sure that we're still on the same page. And then after you look at it through and say like I kind of like how this is going, I like the flow, and then from there start the actual search of what location that we're looking at, because I think you said you like the beaches, you want to be like around like the water and that type of thing.
If at all possible.
Cool. So what I do is I like start looking at those like areas, and then once we lock in like an area, once we get us do a RFP, which is a request for a proposal for the venue, and list out all the requirements that's needed, like all the objectives, any critical decisions that we must have at that venue to be there. And then I go after like concessions, which will be like the food and beverage and all of that stuff, and see what prices comes back. And then once I get that information, I usually do a second round of negotiations once we lock in like our favorite three, and then go do a site visit and that type of stuff. And then after that, lock in the venue, and then start moving forward. And then backtracking a little bit, actually, before we even lock in the venue, we'll have a full price sheet of how much everything what costs by then, once we get that first round of proposals back from like the venues, because usually the most expensive thing from these type of events, where people usually kind of forget about, is going to be like just three things: the food and bev, the venue itself, and then audiovisual tends to be like the biggest like things that hits people. And then the hotel industry is pretty good about hiding like different fees that they don't tell people about. So making sure that all of that stuff is taking out, and making sure like all the right clauses and everything is listed. And when looking at those things and making sure that they're just playing nice and wanting to build a relationship and partnership is like the biggest thing.
Perfect.
And then
Perfect. I like that.
then we just go from there, because that's my biggest thing, is like trying to like build relationships with them, let them feel like it's a partnership with them too. If getting them to sponsor, depending on how the event will work, an event like this, I try everything at the beginning. So I always go after sponsorships for everything when I'm first trying, like going after things. And then when that doesn't work, then I say, okay, how much will it cost? Like what can we do to work out a deal to make it work? And then start getting like those proposals and stuff back. Um, and then once that's done, I go through the agenda. I have all this written down, so I'm just not saying it all.
Sure.
Then I once all of that's said and done, I usually do another draft of a timeline, send it over, and make sure that now this is like the final draft of everything that needs to happen along the way, like social media posts and all that stuff, or if there need to be like press releases for this event, all that stuff is like is outlined in that.
Okay.
That can help like build the event and make it move forward.
Temporarily, I've got my girl that works on my team building me out a Facebook banner, just so that I can start promoting next week.
Awesome.
And for those people that come into the challenge late, I'll be selling the challenge, everything, all the coaching will be obviously done by Hangout, and so they'll be able to get, they'll still be able to benefit even if they come in after the challenge has started, the previous week's information, you know, because I'll build all this inside of a private Facebook page where they'll have access to all the sessions each week.
Cool. No, that's awesome. No, I think it sounds really good. Like the people that's going to be doing the coaching, you said it's going to be all the coaches that currently work with you now.
Those that have worked with me and those that have worked with me in the past, I'll reach out to them to give them an opportunity to come and speak at the event, you know, to be a sponsor at the event, because, you know, those are some of the important pieces, you know, that has benefited me.
Cool. And then for them sponsoring, we have to build like that sponsorship packet. Is there certain things that you want to make sure that they get for their sponsorship packets? Are we selling them like the list of the attendees, like the contact information for the attendees? Are they getting like speaker time? Well, they're already going to be speaking, but are we going to give them
for those, you know, but you're asking a good question. The sponsor packets, there'll be different levels. I want the one who takes the top packages to be able to also speak, so they'll get everything else. Some of the other ones may get their names and their business I mean, I'm open to your suggestions on that part, because I've got my small opinions, but they are not locked in stone. I just know that my top sponsors I want to speak.
Okay. And from the speaking standpoint, because I haven't worked with like this type with speakers, what's your price point that you're wanting them to come in at? Where are you seeing your top speaker on that sponsorship dollar being at?
Well, I could be completely off, and so I would love your feedback and suggestion. But, you know, $1,000, I was thinking would be my top spot, but I could be. You've seen this kind of stuff before. You've been doing this. Like,
I think that's for 20 people, it could be okay, but I still feel like that's a low amount. I feel like it could be a little higher than that. If you're talking about like if they're getting like a title sponsorship, like they're actually like their name gonna be like plastered everywhere, like a part of like the whole new me, and then they put the name of the event, like I love me challenge brought to you by, or something like that. Like I think if someone gets into that type of like sponsorship, it should be a significant amount.
Okay. What significant amount?
But like always, since this is a new and we're building it, we have to look at how many attendees is going to be there. So, and also I also look at impressions and reach outside of the attendees, like how much their name is still being broadcast to the people that's not attending. So then that can come from like mailing lists and different type of news outlets that is being sent out to, and that type of stuff. So they can look at that too and saying like, hey, this is another value add. Like this is how many people attended the event, but this is how many people actually seen the impressions from us promoting the event. So their brand is still being put out there. I need to look at it and think about it a little bit more before I give like a number, but I think we just got to think about it. And as we start seeing what that number is, when we talk to like the venue and to figure out the food and stuff, to see where all that numbers is at. And then,
because I think I'm forgetting something, and I haven't really reiterated this with you, those that are sponsored, they're not only going to be for that event, but they're going to have opportunity to pour into people throughout the coaching sessions. You know, they're going to be able to touch these people. So that's a lot of value in itself also.
That's awesome.
You know, through the challenge itself. So they can be promoted and mentioned through the challenge.
And you also said that they will have like they need to go get a physical and those type of things.
Right.
That's gonna come out of their pocket, right? So when they go do that physical, would they be required to work with the doctor within this program, or can they go see any provider?
Well, just it's they're going to have to go see any provider,
Okay.
because if some of the doctors, if they want certain things ordered, maybe they can order. Like my doctor in Oklahoma, people in Florida aren't going to go see her physically,
Yeah.
but because they are connected with her and she's offering some of her testing, that she'll send you a kit. Like if you want to test for cortisol, what maybe, see if you're holding, what's making you hold weight. She can send you out a test kit. She can make money from that, and you can use her because she's inside of the network.
Cool.
Some of our hormone stuff, and so she can start doing coaching with you remotely on helping your hormones, at least being able to help you to communicate with your doctor, what you may not have known how to communicate with your doctor and how to talk to your doctor, because that's a huge value in itself, is having a doctor inside. If your goal is to get off medication, how to be able to, because most doctors are not focused in that arena, and you want to get off medication
Yeah, most
because
of them want to keep you on medication.
they want to keep you on medication.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big value itself, of just being able to know how to communicate with the doctor.
Cool.
And then our financial people, I'm trying to figure out how I can, how to bring them in as sponsors.
I think the whole design is really, really cool. But I think before I reach out to like some of the like hotelers and stuff, if we can like map out and like have like a full like the whole kind of like the concept a little more solidified with like the finance, the biz, the health coach, and that type of stuff, so we kind of know what an agenda is. Because a lot of venues now these questions too. Like even though it's not their event, like we just asked them to use their space, they still want to know exactly what our agenda is gonna be. So I want to have like that agenda like mapped out tight, um, so we can make sure we present that to them and be credible when we're reaching out to them, so we can get like the best deal. Um, is
I was
that's
thinking even like some of the health food stores,
yeah.
as being sponsors.
I think that'd be really cool. Like yeah, either like Whole Foods or Abby's or Nutrition Smart. There's a new one that's opening called Sprouts that's coming to Tampa. They're opening 2 locations. They're gonna
Sprouts is coming to Tampa.
Yeah, Sprouts is coming to Tampa. They got a location that's gonna be in Carrollwood, and they have a South Tampa location. So
Sprouts is good. We had a Sprouts in Tulsa.
oh, cool, cool. I'm excited about it. I heard about them. I was like, okay, that's cool. I think they're opening up in early 2017. So this could that to me, they need to get out in the market. So that could be an opportunity for us to reach out to them, saying, hey, we know you're coming to the market. This is an event that's taking place. Would you guys be interested in partnering with us?
Yeah.
So that'd be with like once the sponsorship is built, go after them for being a sponsor. That'd be really cool. So only thing I would need is like a a tentative, like a draft agenda for the day, or like some of the how you want the speakers to go, and like from on the health side, the biz side, the financial side, the relationship side, because I feel like that's the biggest part where we're gonna need to pull sponsorships from. So if we need to know what we're asking, what we're telling them, and they're gonna want to know what the whole like what the whole event is. So we need to be able to explain that to them.
And see, I was trying to also think, like my girl Rhonda McDaniels, I'll probably be getting her as a sponsor, and she does body wrapping and so forth, and that's a key element to part of the success. And I like for her to be able to do, people to be able to get wrapped.
How long do one wrap takes?
Man, that's tough.
Yeah,
A wrap
yeah.
takes hour and a half. Let's see, whenever I go to her place, it's about an hour and a half.
Okay.
I mean, she can obviously, but see, people are going to be, ooh.
Almost like it can be one of those things where a certain amount of group people win it, or it's like that's that Friday thing or something. Never know, like the Friday before, once you come in, you can go get wrapped or something.
Yeah, see, you're right. See, I'm trying to think all of this trying to happen on one day. See, people could use a Friday to come
Schedule
in.
a wrap, yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Because I think once your sessions start, people are gonna be like more focused on like doing those things and just like wanting to be like in that group in that time to like do stuff to network together. But like everything that you're talking about though, like you mentioned, like the raps and all those different things, that's like really, really good stuff. And I think that's like all the stuff that I want to, because I can't think of those things, and I want know some of those things to think about, because you got those networks and you've been going through your different coaches and stuff, and you have some really, really cool contents that that they all can provide. So if you can give me like an idea, even if it's just like bullet points of different ideas, and then I can that'll help me when building everything up and like looking at it and like start coming up with other ideas, because it might be something like, oh, I've seen this, or I've done that, and we can make it where solidified and makes a little bit more sense. So almost like just like a draft of all of those things. And also just to make sure that we're not giving too much information on one day, because sometimes it can be brain overload for people too. If you're giving them too much content, even though all of it can be like really, really strong and really good content, it can that can still deter people because they come out not knowing what to take home.
Yeah. Definitely, like my chef, being that he's a vegan chef. Are you still being vegan?
Yeah. Yep. I still love it. Yeah, still
Okay.
really, really good. I'm not gonna lie, like a 10% of the time I do have dairy a little bit. Like in only time it happens if I do like a dessert or something like that. But I don't eat any meat. I stay away from cheese and all that stuff. But if it's
Tim,
like a cookie or something, I'm like, oh, I gotta try that.
Tim, 10%, Tim.
Yeah, I know, Zach, and that's recent. This is like this year that happened. Like I was like, like I can't call myself a vegan.
What have you noticed then? Difference in your health?
With being vegan, or like
Yes.
the way
Yeah.
I've been eating, I think like definitely energy. Like energy wise, being more alert. Um, I used to have stomach pain, I guess from dairy, like not knowing that I was lactose intolerant, and then like eliminating those things, like really, like I forgot I used to have stomach pains. I was like, oh, I did used to have stomach pains, like because all that stuff just goes away. You forget all the symptoms you had, and I think that's been like the biggest help for me.
Cool.
Yeah, and I lost a lot of weight at the beginning because I was really, really, really like pure vegan, like not eating any, like no processed foods. Because now I do some processed, which I need to get away from some of the processed stuff. But when I was doing this, like all fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, um, and making sure that there was not like very minimum oil, very minimum salt and sugar, I would like the pounds to start falling off. It fell off weird. Like it was like 2 or 3 months in, then it started dropping like really fast. But like the first 3 or 4 months, you don't really see anything. You think, oh, nothing's happening, and then it just starts happening like right away. That's what happened with Larry. Like he lost like almost all of his weight the last 6 or 7 months in, left him being like pure dedicated.
Okay.
and he lost. I think you met Larry, my brother. Yeah, he
Yes.
forgot how much he lost, but he lost 100 something pounds just from doing the vegan thing. He went to like an extreme that I think that's not normal for most people because he did no oil, no sugar, no salt. He ate like quinoa all the time. And then like just minimal foods. So I think that's like for
Yeah.
people like, and then he even to today say that that's not the right way to do it.
Yeah. He's lucky to be alive.
He's like that's not the right way to do it because he's like the way he was working like crazy too. So I guess he counted that as his workout because he was working at Whole Foods at the time and he was the bulk buyer, so he had to lift 50 pound bags all the time, filling bags and all that stuff. So it's almost like 8 hours of working out plus diet he was doing. So the weight just like fell off of him. I tried to do it and it didn't work for me the way it worked for him.
Yeah, but you didn't have the same exercise piece that he had in it.
That and also just the willpower of just no like completely no salt, no sugar. Like I gotta have a little bit of salt on something. So I think like my willpower was a little bit different than his.
Yeah. Um. Wow. Yeah. That is crazy. But no, you do have to have salt, and you do need sugar.
Yeah, he says that now. He's like, yeah, I don't know what I was doing because he's like went and started doing some nutrition, like went to school and trained on it and all that stuff, and then he learned that the route he took was not the best route. Yeah, but he's happy now and doing what he's doing. He is another person that probably like a good person that to talk to, possibly with some of the like things that he do. Like he does like circulation, like blood circulation, where you can like increase the blood flow with a system called the Beamer. I don't know if you heard of the Beamer or not,
No.
but it's you lay on the Beamer and then it's just sends like a wave like through the body, and then it just increases the blood flow by 30%. So it like helps people that like have like bad circulation and that type of stuff to like get their circulations moving in their bloodstream quickly, which is really good and which brings oxygen, gets oxygen through the body much quicker.
So you're saying some things that makes me go back to people that I've gone to, and a lot of the local people that I've used. I don't know how much of this I should be promoting around the country, uh, and how much of the costs of this need to go toward hotels if I just make this event locally promoted. Um,
Hmm.
because our local vendors and so forth will benefit more so if people are here locally to be able to come and use their services, and I don't have to spend money on a bunch of outsiders trying to fly in and so forth.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely something to look at. Like getting started, doing it in your backyard, and like go through all the growing pains and make it work the way you want it to work. And then once you get it to that point, then open it up to like to the next market, and then open it up to outside, like people from outside the state to come in. Like it can be like a test run just with your local market to see how it goes. Like that's definitely a good. I think I like that approach.
Yeah, because I got a couple of speakers coming in from out of state, but and I don't want to shut people out, but I do need to make a heavy emphasis on the local versus the. So I need to work on the pricing so that the people benefit from they get a ticket to the challenge. Um, how do I do that and
I
say
think I need to see what the challenge is. Like once we know like how many like each day there's a different thing that's happening, or like not each day, but there's a process that's happening. So long as once we know, or we have it from day one to day 10 to day 20, 30, all the way up to 60, like the different steps that needs to take along their way. What once we know what those things are, then you can add a dollar amount to what each of those things is. Like how much will it usually cost to do something like this? And then that can kind of give you a dollar amount on what that should cost to do that, because of the whatever that value that they're getting from those different like steps they're going to take. And
What
then
you mean like a genetics test, a some of
yeah,
the testing? Okay, so okay, that dollar amount value, I mean, the genetics test was like if you go through the particular doctor I went through, if you're a patient, it's a $400 test. If not, it's a $500 test.
now is that something
Uh,
that's required for their challenge? Like you still like they need to
I
do
would
this with their
see.
challenge?
I would be teaching it. You know, um, these are I would if those who take advantage of it.
Yeah, so
Um,
it's highly recommended to do this if you can.
yeah,
So
yeah.
okay, but it's not, if you don't do it, it's not like you still didn't like lose out on the challenge. Do it when you can. So kind of like say it, I guess, in that approach.
I guess what I haven't.
Or like if you're going all in, you have to do it. This is the amount you're paying. With you're committing to your life. I know it's a big investment. You have to do it. Um.
I mean,
So
even
just
the food sensitivity test. That's a $500-600 test, but that test will tell you what foods your body has a sensitivity to, high, low, or medium. And it will save you a lot of time, heartache, and frustration because even in the effort to be a vegan, or not that that may be a person's focus, but if you're wanting to be healthy and you say, I know I shouldn't be drinking milk, so I'm going to drink almond milk as a healthier option.
mhm.
If your body has a sensitivity to almonds, not allergy, that's totally different because people know if they have nut allergies. But if you don't have a nut allergy, but your body has a sensitivity to it, which creates high levels of cortisol, that's inflammation in the body that you're not seeing these allergic reactions to. It just you're holding the
Wow.
weight. If you don't avoid the foods that you have a sensitivity to, you could be struggling making healthier choices, just
But
kind of like
seeing
yourself.
nothing. Yeah.
You were saying that, things didn't work the same way for you. There could have been things you were eating that were healthier options your body did not want.
Yeah. That's
And,
true.
and so this is some of the information in the challenge that people should become aware of and the steps that they should be doing so that now they can plan their meals and their foods accordingly because they're not putting something in them that their body is internally fighting, saying, damn, I wish you didn't put this in here. And then in this fighting, it's producing this cortisol, which cortisol is an inflammatory um, chemical in the body.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's why you
awesome.
do the spit test is a test that is from ZRT Labs, and it's a test you do 4 times a day. I mean, it sounds horrible, but the reality of it is it takes your saliva. You have to spit in a vial 4 times a day, within 30 minutes of waking up, around
Oh wow.
lunchtime, around dinner time, and before you go to bed. And when you get these results back, it lets you see your levels of cortisol throughout the day.
Oh wow.
Then you can go back and look at, okay, my levels are high in the morning or they're high at lunchtime. Could there have been something that I ate at breakfast that spiked it? Was there something at lunch that spiked it? Could there have been something I was doing at dinner that spiked it? And then when these levels are high before you go to bed, you don't sleep as well. So when you don't sleep as well, your body doesn't repair itself so that you're releasing the weight that you want to be releasing.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's
So
awesome. That's really good stuff. That's a good
so when,
technology.
yeah, so when I talk about this challenge, the hard part for me to quantify this is that it's something totally different than what people are used to. This is a challenge that's, if you can get through the end, maybe the challenge is to identify all the problems that's causing you to hold the weight Because if we can identify why we are where we are, we can't just chalk it up to say, I eat bad. Some people don't eat bad and
Yeah.
still aren't where they want to be.
Yep. It's
Some
so
people
true.
some people don't just go blow money. They try to be responsible.
I have a friend that I know that's just like that, where she does everything she can to eat healthy and do good, and won't lose no weight. She hasn't lost any weight, and she tries all the time now. And she gets very discouraged about it now, like saying, I'm not losing weight. It's not gonna. I don't know what's wrong with me. I have something wrong. Blah 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 blah. But this is like one of those programs that she needs to be involved in. She needs to take this program and go through each step and at least know what is causing it, so you can fight it. There's a lot of people fighting with the battle that they don't even know what they're fighting.
That's Carol Gill, right?
I know the name.
She's in CEO. She's in Tampa.
The TBBO.
TBBO. Golly,
Yeah, yeah.
I done got disconnected from so many. I haven't been around TBBO in a
I
year,
haven't.
so
I've been actually. I feel bad because I haven't been around for almost a year either.
are you no longer a sponsor?
I didn't do the sponsorship for this next year that's coming. I didn't, but I don't know if Chris kept me up or not. Which
Okay.
he probably, because I didn't roll over for it to go and do it again.
I probably need to look at getting back involved and even becoming a sponsor myself, because that could be a lot of, well, there's a lot of solopreneurs in TBBO,
Yeah.
especially going into my higher living academy. Um, that's a price point of $12,000 or more to get into that academy. But the point of this is Carol Gill, she's the one that told me about the food sensitivity. Her story, I interviewed her a year ago, and she was like, I had dropped 70 pounds, 110 pounds before. She got breast cancer, went through all the therapy and the treatments. She regained 70 pounds.
Oh, wow.
She went back to lose it and she dropped 30, but she could not drop the last 40. And it was her doctor finally, she had done everything. And her doctor said, I want you to try this one last thing. And it was the ALCAT food sensitivity test. She determined from that test she had a sensitivity to tilapia, almonds, and one other item. She was drinking almond milk versus dairy. As soon as she cut those items out of her diet, she dropped the 40 pounds.
Wow. That's awesome.
I ran into more people that have done that. Not because I told them to do it. They had done it. They were telling me, look, I went and did this. So I'm like, I'm getting more people telling me about this damn ALCAT test. So I went to my doctor, I don't have any sensitivity. I pretty much can eat what I want. So now I follow my blood type. I also follow, the genetics results. And those two tests were cohesive. They said you should be high carb, low protein, good
Cool.
carb, not bad carb,
Yeah.
So now I know the eating program. My body doesn't want a bunch of meat. So I've been following a vegan diet along with
Doing
seafood
good. Yeah.
and was doing good. That was explaining why I was getting the results I was getting. I'm not telling you to go do what I did. You go find out what your body wants,
Yep.
and then you adjust accordingly. So even though you're following a vegan diet, if you were to get these different tests, then you could shift perhaps even how your meal planning, even as a vegan, is done. So, and it's just those tweaks of the knowledge. Now all you got to do is just eat accordingly,
Yeah. I like it. It sounds awesome. Like, I think what's cool about this whole program is that it sounds fun, and it's just, you got these different steps that's taking place, like the different um things that you need to do. A lot of people do these challenges, but there's nothing like this where you need to go take certain tests and get the results and that type of stuff. That makes it fun, and you feel like you're getting something like real, like that is a huge value add that's coming out of a program like this. So I think, like,
and maybe I price it. Go ahead and price it in a big way,
Because
so that
yeah,
so I
that's what I
can go
feel
ahead and
like.
pay for these.
I feel like people, once you hear about all these different steps and what's going to be happening, what you're going to be doing and taking, like for a challenge like this, because it's not like this is no anybody. It's not a like I don't know how to explain those other challenges, but I feel like this is like it's called a challenge, but it's bigger than a challenge too. Like it's definitely life changing. And then like with the 4 steps and everything, and then taking these different tests, getting the results back, knowing exactly this is who I am, what my body is, this is what I've been battling, and now I know the results from what I'm battling. I think is really, really good. And then ending it with like the retreat, which is just really cool. Like the got a good one. That you
Yeah.
came up with a really good process.
And so even if people are out of town, they'll at least know what to go ask their doctors for.
Yep.
I want this particular test. And if if you can't get it, I need you to get somebody that can get it for me. And if that doesn't happen, then I'm finding a new doctor.
Yep. Yep.
You know. So
I agree. Awesome. Well, this is all good stuff. I'm gonna draft all of this stuff up, the conversation that we had, and I'm looking at my calendar real quick too, so I can.
And I'll send you uh, the link to back to this recording.
Okay, awesome. And what I'm gonna do is I'm back in Tampa on Monday.
That
I don't know if that's too late, but can I send you, or maybe I can do it this weekend. I just need to look at what that they have me planned, what my schedule is. I'm gonna draft everything up, and then I'm gonna send this over to you. Like some suggestions and kind of like have it all outlined, like a tentative like timeline. If we gonna go for that February 11th date, this is everything that needs to happen to make February 11th a success. I send that over to you, and then once you feel like okay, let's go with it, let's run with it. I do my first reach and go after the venue and try to let's see where venue we can get that'll come back with a good options for us.
okay.
And then like I was mentioning, just like if you can get me over in an agenda,
Just send
like
me.
bullet. I'm calling it an agenda, but pretty much just bullet points of what you want your agenda to be, what the sessions to be. Because I got the agenda like outlined already, like the early morning walk, the cleanup, refresh, breakfast. Then we go into the general sessions. So kind of like want to know what that general session part is.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, if at all possible, man, I want to be really careful crossing the street. But it's like the DoubleTree out there in Rocky Point.
Yeah, that's a really nice property. Yeah, I like the Rocky Point.
And because see, I walk to Courtney Campbell every Saturday. But even if we did something on the beach, see, I've looked at. I mean, I'm not. Let me back up. You probably have a better feel on venues and so forth throughout this area. I don't know Clearwater very well. St. Pete, I've looked on the beach and I just don't see very many places, but I could be wrong. But I do know the Rocky Point area. I'm not saying that's where it has to be because I know there's some expensive stuff over there. So,
Yeah. Well, that's a good DoubleTree. Like I know one of the sales managers over there that works at that property.
because I'm thinking wherever we go walk, I want it easily accessible to nice walking. Or even if we didn't do walking, we did yoga or something. But no, the walk is my signature, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
keep
yeah. I
the
think you
walk.
definitely like That's definitely a signature. Like everybody know you for that walk and like see it. Like I think that's a really good brand. That's a brand piece for you.
Yeah. Um,
And I can't wait for like years down the line where you see hundreds and hundreds of people walking and then thousands of people walking for like one big day. Everybody just get up, they go walk that one morning. I think I could see all that stuff happening.
yeah, well, that's we did something similar for the first year anniversary of the walk, October
Oh,
1st.
cool.
We had shirts done and sponsors on the shirts, and I did a broadcast that was really good. Yeah, so I have the domain. I haven't built the website yet, but the domain
Okay.
walksarounttheglobe.com, and that's where people can send in their videos of walking who are part of a whole new me, you
Hmm.
know.
That's awesome.
But yeah, someplace that is easy accessible for us to be able to walk. um, and if that becomes too difficult, we'll have to do something different, but that would be awesome, even if it's on the beach, because in February, our temperatures aren't shouldn't be that cold. um, you can still bundle up and get out and walk in February.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, that's good stuff. So I'm gonna get ready to head over because I got to get ready to head over to like our early morning meetings, and then I'm gonna get all this drafted up and sent it over to you. And I did see those come through.
And as I think about it too, though, to have control of the event, regardless if they come from out of town or if they're here in town, I think they should stay at the venue.
Cool.
um, to have control, to have be a part of the energy.
Yeah.
Um, and if it's included in the price, their accommodations are taken care of, whether you're in town or out of town. So it's one main price. You just got to pay for your airfare in. Therefore, we get people are there for all the events. They hear everything, because if people are trying to come, they're going to be late or trying to get there for the walks and so forth. Um, yeah.
Yep. No, I agree. I think that's it. Cool. That sounds good.
All right, my man.
Good stuff.
Um, I'll get this. Yeah. Did you send me over an email address?
Let me do that real quick.
And you tell them next time to put you in a room with a king.
I
Don't be
know,
giving you
right?
double. Don't be giving you double beds.
I know that we ran out of kings. They always do stuff like that. This is like I don't know what the last like 3 or 4 places I've been to have all put me in, like queens and stuff. All right, just sent that to you. That's my email. That one comes straight to my phone.
Okay.
All right. So
All right, bro.
I think this is a great place to start. In what when I send this information over to you, I just have in there another like time, like my availability for the next few days that I'm going to be available, and maybe we can set up another time to talk and like talk about everything that's listed on that and answer any questions you have from what I have drafted out.
Okay.
Cool, cool. Need anything else from me, Eric?
I don't. This is good. This gets me started.
Awesome, awesome, and I appreciate you. And I think you got a really cool process. I think this is a really cool event. I think it can become really big and have a really strong following. It could be something that could be done multiple times throughout the year, like you said, because people need this, and I think it's going to change a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
I need it. So, like, I think it's really cool.
All right, brother. I appreciate it.
All right.
And one last question is like, your costs and fees. How are you paid and all that sort of stuff?
What I usually do for a process like this is that I will have like a flat rate that I charge, and then the flat rate is usually is 18% of the total expenses. And then depending on the sponsors I bring in addition to that, I ask for a 20% um, commission from all sponsorships that I bring in, all monetary sponsorships. So if I bring in $20,000, or I'm just thinking of numbers that's crazy big. If I bring in like a number like that, like I will ask for like 20% of that, and then the expense side, I take 18%.
Okay.
If that makes any sense,
It does. It does.
okay.
It does. Let's rock and roll. I
Is
mean,
that
hey,
something
having
you?
somebody in,
Is that
you'll probably
something?
bring in.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I've never worked with. This is the first time that I've brought somebody else into it. I feel like it's going to be more successful doing it this way, out of my reach, because this is not my expertise. And you're probably going to bring in higher percentages on sponsorships than I would, because I don't think at the same level. So whatever commission you earn, I wouldn't have had that to begin with. So I think that's all good.
It's definitely usually a really strong value add. Like when I say when you work with like planners and stuff, because we always think of like the small details, all the different things that a lot of people tend to not think about or may not consider that we can bring in and bring forth, especially like just registration is one thing that a lot of people don't think about that can become like troublesome, and that where we come in with the expertise to make sure that we got the name badges, everything is correct, that everybody that's at the event is welcomed the right way and brought in properly. Because like I always feel like the way people feels when they first come to an event, because everybody's already excited about it, so you start getting them excited pre-event with like the marketing, and then when they get there, the way you welcome them and bring them in, I think is really really important. And then just the communication and throughout the event, letting them know this is happening and that stuff along the way, I think is really good, and that's what I'm good at doing. And that's what I'm good at, like making sure like the team that I work with is good at producing too. So I'm excited to work with you and see how this all come to life and build it. My biggest thing too is like with a short time frame like this is like when I draw off that timeline, because I know how important this is to you. I want to make sure that it's realistic, that everything that we're talking about doing, that with the timeline, it can happen the right way, fast, and get the right return. Because the last thing I want to do or I'm gonna let happen is people come in and fork out like a lot of different like money, but then it wasn't marketed properly, or um, it's the time just too short for attendees to commit to it. So I just want to make sure that all that stuff is right.
Right. Okay.
So that's what that sheet that I'm going to be drafting out is going to determine. And then when I send that over to you, you'll look at it and you'll be like, okay, based on like saying we need to do this, we need to do this, and everything. Okay, let's run with it. Let's say yes for February 11th, or you know what? Now I'm looking at this, and from based on everything that you're saying, let's push it back because this the first shot. We want to make the right shot. So that's that's how I'm going with it for this first time around.
Okay. And when it comes to with Valentine's Day being in the middle of the week like it is, when do people usually celebrate?
They're going to celebrate that week before. That Saturday pre-Valentine's Day.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
Valentine's, that Saturday, Sunday pre-Valentine's Day is going to be where everybody's going to gather and get to do their like dinners and all that stuff.
Okay. So I'll probably come up with healthy chocolate options that people will be on the tables, and different things that yeah, because people are going to have the sweet tooths, but then let's make it healthy sweet, so where it's guilt free sweet.
I like it. Awesome, awesome.
All right,
All
man.
right,
I'll let
good
you
time.
get on with your day.
All right, good
I'll
talking to you.
catch you around. All right.
All right,
Thanks a lot.
thanks. All right, bye.
All right.